Malaysia reported 36 new COVID-19 cases as at noon today, the lowest daily figure since March 14th, 4 days before the movement control order was imposed nationwide. This is also the lowest since the MCO began. There were also no new fatalities reported today, which means that the death toll remains at 89. Daily recovery stood at 98, which brings the number of active cases down to 2,041. Currently, the country's total infection number stands at 5,425, while the total number of cured cases is 3,295. Health DG Datuk Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah says the drop was due to the MOH's proactive and aggressive measures, but warns that this could change as it tracks more cases. A JV between Gamuda and BMD Constructions has been invited to tender for a motorway connecting to the south of Sydney, Australia, costing about 2.6 billion Aussie dollars. According to a statement by the New South Wales State Government, in addition to the Gamuda BMD JV, other invites had been extended to Akiona Samsung JV and CBP Gela JV. NSW's Minister for Roads, Andrew Constance, says the M6 Stage 1 project will create around 5,300 jobs. Constance says that the start of the works on this project will provide a major boost to an industry that is struggling. He adds that in NSW there are almost 400,000 people employed in property and construction, and they are committed to keeping as many of them in work as possible. The project will allow motorists to bypass up to 23 sets of traffic lights on the Princess Highway and take up to 2,000 heavy vehicles. Both AirAsia Group and AirAsia X were among Bursa Malaysia's most actively traded on the news that the airline is set to resume domestic flights on April 29th. AirAsia saw its share price close 10.8% up at 87 cents, with almost 173 million shares traded. It was the third most actively traded stock. Sister AAX was the most actively traded stock today, with almost 484 million shares traded. AAX's counter spiked by 56.35% to close at 12.5 cents. However, the resumption of AAX flights is still undetermined. To recap, last Friday, AirAsia announced that it would resume flights for key selected domestic routes and will be gradually increased to include international routes subject to regulatory approval. FGV Holdings has voluntarily ceased operations at its palm oil mills within the Sahabat region in Lahad Datu Sabah after police enhanced the movement control order in the area. This came after 11 COVID-19 cases were detected in the area. In a statement, FGV says none of its employees in Sahabat had tested positive for COVID-19. Its operations in the area involve 115,432 hectares of plantation comprising 7 mills and 48 estates. At 2 of the 5 mills for employees are quarantined as persons under investigation, while 3 other mills have been closed as a precautionary measure. FGV says it will continue to be vigilant in its efforts to contain the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. S&P Global Ratings says that unemployment could very well surge well over 3 percentage points across Asia Pacific as social distancing hits the economic engine. This is double that of an average recession. In a report titled Jobs and the Climb Back from COVID-19, S&P APAC Chief Economist Sean Roach says surging unemployment in Asia Pacific would mean a shallow recovery once the pandemic is contained, and in some economies, credit stress for leveraged households. In short, he says that historical data shows that jobs lost are not easily won back. Malaysians in the SME segment are seen as among those vulnerable to households' debt servicing capacity. Roach says the service sector is the most important employer and a bigger engine of jobs growth than factories.